Hi all, today we are going to study the CPC, KRA and the management by exception. So you must have studied the chapter called controlling in your syllabus, and in that there is a step in the controlling process that is called analyzing the deviation. Then you have different tools to analyze the deviation which are there. The one is CPC, the one tool is CPC, and the other one is MBE, that is management by exception. So what is CPC? That is critical point control. That means in the management, when you are having the controlling process, you need to have some critical point where you can control. As a manager, it is impossible. As a manager, when you are managing something, right, as a manager, it is impossible to control everything, to control each process, right? And it is impossible as well for cost, right? You will have plenty of cost when you try to control each and everything. So financially this is not viable to control each activity in place as a manager. So something you have to let it to the at the employee level or the person who are doing that thing. So critical point control means there are certain points which you need to identify to control, and the other point which are not that important for the organization perspective or from the perspective of the performance of the organization, then you don't have to control or don't try to control that thing. So those point you have to identify, that is called key result area, key result areas, right? So that is called KRA. So you need to identify the KRA of the organization, of the people or the process or the department for which you want to control. So you have to identify key result area, and on those area you need to focus on. Let's say because nowadays, let's say the banks are really finding it difficult to have the good net interest margin. The NIMs, they are having the pressure to increase that. Why so? Because they are having the demand for the loan. People are asking for the loan, or the organization or the companies or the industries are asking for the loan, but the people are not ready to deposit the money into the banks, into the saving account or something fixed deposit account. Rather they are trying to invest into stock market, mutual fund and all other equity derivatives, etc., which are available in the market, or the ETF fund, exchange traded fund, or the other funds are available there, right? So they don't want to put the money into the bank. So that is why they are feeling the pressure in NIMs. So that is where the bank has to find out the key result area, right? That is the result area which will affect the performance of the bank. So as an organization, as a manager, what you have to find out, you have to find out the critical point to be controlled, and you have to find out the key result area, the areas which are going to affect your future performance as an organization and as a manager. So find out those key result area and try to control all those areas which are very very important for your organization, right? I have given take the example, I have given the bank example, and they have to control the NIM, that is net interest margin. So that is the main thing which the bank have to control. The other key result area is non-performing asset, NPA. They are called NP, non-performing asset, for which they are not having the amount, they are not getting the recovery. That means they are not getting the interest, also they are not getting the principal amount returned to them. So that is called non-performing asset. So they have to control that thing also, because whatever they have given to the people, that needs to be taken back along with the interest. So there are certain things which you can control. So those are called key result area, and you have to identify so that you can have the critical point control, where you can control the things and you are not trying to control each and everything, right? So that is called critical point control along with your key result area. Then comes the management by exception. Now, what is management by exception? The other tool or analyzing the deviation is management by exception. Now, what is this tool suggests? This is one of the tool in which the management says that till the limit the deviations are there which are acceptable by the management, that is not going to be pursued by the manager, or they are not taken care by the manager, rather they are going to give it to the employee or the people who are performing the tasks. Now I'm again rephrasing my sentence. So management by exception is a technique in which the manager or the organization are accepting a certain amount of deviation which are accepted or which they have given the limit to be accepted, right, as far as the performance is concerned. So if your deviation falls under that category, that is acceptable, right? Let me give you an example. Let's say the labor cost, they say, okay, if that increase by 2%, that is acceptable, right? That is acceptable. And what happens in your financial accounts, your annual financial account, what happens? Your labor cost increase by labor cost increase by 1.5%, right? It increases. So that can be taken by the management by exception. That means the top management is not going to take this issue because 1.5% is acceptable as far as the deviation is concerned, because they have already given the buffer limit of 2%. So anything between the 2%, they are not going to have the headache. So that will be acceptable to them. So as far as within the acceptable limit, if your deviations are as by the management by exception, you are not going to follow up with the managers or the top management, right? So they are not taking it for their pursuit, rather that will be given to the employee at the level where they are performing, right? This is called management by exception. Only those things which are exceptional in nature can be taken into the attention of the top manager, so that they can find the reasons and they try to give the corrective action plan for the same. Now we will try to understand what exactly is the difference between the CPC and the MBE, right? Let's say CPC is here and MBE. Now as by CPC say find out the critical point to be controlled, right? Let's take the example in a manufacturing firm. In a manufacturing firm, if material cost increase by 5% and let's say postal charges increase by 200%. So what they are going to control? Obviously they are the manufacturing firm, they will take care of the material cost because that is substantial for them and that will hamper their cost and obviously their margin as well, right? Their revenue and their profit. And as far as postal charges are concerned, they are negligible, and if they are increasing by 200%, let's say last year they have spent 1 lakh rupees, this year they have spent 2 lakh rupees, so or 4 lakh rupees, so that is 200%, right? So let's say last year they have 1 lakh rupees and now that is 2 lakh rupees. Now this year they have increased to 3 lakh rupees. So there is a jump of 200%, right? So that they are not having any kind of problem, because postal charge in a manufacturing firm are negligible, but as far as material cost is concerned, that is very important. So they will find CPC, critical point, the material cost to be controlled, right? So that is called critical point control. That means a significant point which can hamper your performance in the future, that needs to be controlled. And management, that is related to the acceptance of mistake or deviation within buffer zone, right? Whatever the buffer zone they have given. So this MBE is a tool that is related to that. Let's say I have given an example. Let's say if they are saying 2% labor cost, if increased labor cost, right, if the salary in wages etc., if that increased 2% year on year basis, that is acceptable to the management, right? So if that is increased, let's say 1.5% in actual, so they are not going to take into the consideration, they will be happy with that rather, right? But if that increases by 5%, obviously they will come into the picture and they will try to understand the things why this is increasing by 5%, right? And they will try to find out the corrective action plan for that. So that is MBE, management by exception. Only those things which are exceptional in nature will be brought into the notice to the top manager, so that they can find out the corrective action plan for the deviation which are coming into the picture. And here the CPC is there are certain points which needs to be controlled for the future performance of the organization. So these are called CPC, KRA and management by exception. There are certain question which have been asked by the CBSE in board examination for these, and sometimes they are given the case studies, so you have to understand these words and their applicability in the organization, right, and how they are important. So these are very important as far as straight question or case studies are concerned. So you have to understand that why the CPC is being used and why the MBE is being used, and that is for the analyzing the deviation, so that the performance of the employee can be enhanced, the time of the manager. So there are certain advantage, right? Advantage of both the things. Control will be better, right? Deviation can be removed. Manager will get more time for important tasks, right? So they can concentrate on the policy matter and the strategy kind of things, and they can concentrate on their competitors etc. and the market thing, so that they can have the advantage over the competitors and the peers, rather than having the regular and the routine kind of work. So that you need to understand from the perspective of your question, which can come straight and which can come as in the form of case studies. I hope you would have understood. If you find any kind of question or confusion, you can definitely put your confusion or doubt in the comment box. I will definitely revert to you. Thank you very much.